Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jumoke Odediji. I'm the program manager for Center for 21st Century Issues. I welcome everyone to this meeting, and I want to take some minutes out for people to join. So I would ask if we are all okay to wait some little while, like some 2 minutes more for people to join, just to accommodate more people. Thank you. So by 3:05, we are going to start.
Hello, can you hear us and see us?
Hello.
Zachary can. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. Right.
Hello, so Céline speaking from Paris.
Okay, can you hear me? This is Jumoke.
Yes, we can, perfectly.
Center for 21st Century Issues.
We are just some of us in the same room, so maybe we have some disturbances with a sound.
Okay.
What? So we are just managing this.
Hello? Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right.
Shall we start now?
Yeah, we can start now. I was hoping we could accommodate some people to join, but we can start so they would join in the middle of the meeting. Is that fine?
Okay, we can also wait a bit still.
Okay, we can just wait for probably 2 minutes for people to join, right? Is that okay?
Yes, it's better for us.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, sorry for coming in late. There was some technical issues and then the network was a bit slow. So good afternoon, everyone. We can start now.
Yes, we can start. So we were trying to share our screen, but we cannot. It seems that we are not allowed to.
I think, Jumoke, can you please give them the opportunity to share their screen?
All right, I'll do
So
that
that we
right.
can share a presentation. So we have made a short presentation.
Okay, I think we need to do we need to do some short introductions before you start, and then we can proceed with your presentation. Is that okay?
Yes. Fine.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Titi Akosa. I'm the Executive Director of Center for 21st Century Issues. And today we are going to have an accountability forum on the GCF project, Transforming Financial System for the Climate, which have been approved some years back at the GCF. And last year we had the first accountability forum on this project where we had AFD, officials of AFD tell us the status of implementation of the project and all the challenges they are having in terms of implementing the project in those 17 countries where they're supposed to be implemented. So that's where we have, today we are following up to know what they've done, whether other countries have been rolled out, and what are the challenges, what kind of solution can we. Very important issues for us, because what is most important for us as developing countries is to ensure that these funds get into our countries, it is used for what it's supposed to be used for, and people benefit and are happy with the projects that will come online. So today, I have with me here Jumoke Odediji, who is the program manager managing this project from the side of C21st. And apart from that, I have all our GCF gender monitors across Africa here. And I think some people are also joining outside Africa. We also have our technical support from Women's Development and Environment Organization, Tara Daniels. She's also on this call. So maybe they might be able to just say a few words. Tara, say a few words, and then we can start.
Yes, please go ahead, Titi.
Hello,
Sure,
is Tara there?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you for the invitation to say a few words, TT. I appreciate it. Just wanted to reiterate, like TT, I serve as an alternate active observer for civil society as we engage with the Green Climate Fund process of watching projects develop and watching them move into implementation. And the themes that we're constantly talking about are about transparency, engagement, and accountability. So it's really wonderful to have a space like this that can promote this type of conversation, this type of communication, not just at this single moment in the project, but overall throughout the project lifespan, as we continue to want to engage with accredited entities from the moment of project and program conceptualization through implementation, recognizing that the GCF has supported participatory monitoring and that is enshrined as part of the GCF's monitoring and accountability framework. So really looking forward to the rest of this conversation. Thanks, Titi.
Very much, Tara. And I think I can see Indiville here, though maybe later she will talk. So I think, Jumoke, can you just give us a short summary of this project and how far, just for 5 minutes, so that Celine can also share her screen.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name once again is Jumoke Odediji Victoria. So I would be sharing my screen to give a short summary of the project.
So Jumoke, you can start talking till the PowerPoint shows up. Hello, Jumoke, you can start talking. Okay, fine.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please
Okay.
be fast about it.
All right. So to give an overview of transforming financial systems for climate project FP095. All right, this is just like an introduction, like Ms. Akosa mentioned, that we had our first accountability forum with AFD. That was in March 2022, 24th of March 2022, on the project Transforming Financial Systems for the Climate. And it's been implemented by AFD. So we had the AFD team on the section, and they gave an overview of the project and also some challenges and the gender aspect of the project. So I will just be going through some of the challenges that they highlighted. Okay, before then, they highlighted that the project have been approved in 4 countries, which are Egypt, Ecuador, South Africa, and Nigeria, for 501 million euros. And disbursement of loans by partner banks has not yet started as at then. So they also highlighted some challenges that were faced during implementation. And some of them are scope of program restricted to financial institutions capable of borrowing directly from AFD. So also they mentioned limited pool of eligible financial institutions, and also banks shifted focus away from green projects due to COVID-19 pandemic. Then also procurement delays in recruitment of technical assistants experts. So we can all see the YouTube link to this section. I would drop that in the chat box for people to engage. All right, so giving an introduction of the project itself, it was approved by the GCF board on 28th of October 2018, and it's a private sector financing. So the implementation period is for 7 years, and like I said earlier, the implementing accredited entity is AFD. So also, the project is meant to be implemented in 17 countries: Nigeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, Ecuador, Egypt, Kenya, Madagascar, Mauritius, Morocco, Namibia, Senegal, South Africa, Tanzania, Togo, and Uganda. All right, so the summary of the project says, the project provides loans and technical assistance in 17 developing countries across Africa and Latin America and the Caribbean to create self-sustaining markets in energy efficiency, renewable energy, and climate resilience. All right, the private sector in these 2 regions still perceives sustainable energy and climate resilience as expensive and complex, as the environmental advantage of more resilient investment and practices is not well understood. So there were efforts to demonstrate the benefit of financing these areas, which are required to reach a critical mass and upscale the commercial viability of climate projects. So the project has an estimated lifespan of 20 years, and it is meant to be implemented for 7 years. So there are 2 annual reports for this project that was submitted to the GCF. One was for 2019 annual performance report and 2020 annual performance report. So the 2 APRs, they reported the same information on the project. We did not really elaborate on the implementation status of the project in the implementing countries. So they were just short reports that did not really give significant information about the implementation of the project. So what was just reported in the 2 APRs were, okay, what was reported in the 2 APRs was the sub-projects that have been approved by the AFD's board with TFSC programs resources in Egypt and Ecuador. Then it was also reported that main opportunities for new operations are located in South Africa. Okay, I would say as against what the AFD team gave us, spoke about, or what they discussed at the first edition of our accountability forum, they mentioned that 4 countries have been approved for this project, but the APR, both the 2019 and 2020, did not report that. So also it was stated in the APR that AFD Group is facing several issues and challenges to keep the program attractive for the LFPs and institutional partners regarding the implementation phase. So apart from these 2 APRs, there are no, there is no additional APR that has been submitted to the GCF board, or probably that has been made public to everyone. Okay, so for the project implementation in Nigeria, Bank of Industry and AFD, they built a partnership for 100 million euros credit line for the expansion of green finance in Nigeria. So the transaction was approved by AFD under this project, under this program, the Transforming Financial System for Climate Program with the GCF. So it's a credit facility agreement, which is a global partnership for a sustainable future. So this leads me to some drafted questions that we've sent to AFD team on the project status. But before I go to that, I don't know if they would like to give their presentation first, or we can take the questions before they go to the presentation.
Thank you. So if I can take the floor, thank you very much, Jumoke. Thank you for your presentation. And indeed, it would be great that if we can introduce now our presentation, as we had already prepared a kind of overview, global overview of the program and where we stand now. And we have some elements to add to what you just said regarding the most recent developments. So
Okay.
I will try to share so that we can start. So can you share my screen now? Can you see, sorry, my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so here is, I will put it. Okay. So here is a presentation. So I will go rapidly. I will only introduce it. So, but maybe we should start by introducing also each other as part of the AFD and Proparco team, because Proparco is also with us as part of the, also carrying this program. So it's a program carried by both AFD and Proparco. because it is targeting both the private and the public sectors. So my name is, I will start first and I will give the floor to colleagues so that they can introduce each other. So my name is Céline Tonia. I am the focal point for the GCF at AFD. And as such, I am in charge of reviewing the global relationship and the partnership with the GCF, because this one goes much beyond the mobilization of funds. And I'm also in charge of originating, identifying projects with project teams before they go into specific instructions. Then I will give the floor to Alexandra.
Hello everyone. I don't know if you can hear me well because we have one microphone for the room. My name is Alexandra, and I recently joined the TFSC program team in Paris, and I'm in charge of coordinating a TFSC program from IFT in Paris. And I'll give the floor to Marion with us.
Thanks. Hello everybody. My name is Marion Calog. I'm a project manager in the financial system division within EFD, and I'm also a gender focal point for the team.
Alexis? Sorry, Zachary.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zachary. I work at Proparco in the Technical Assistance Division. And so, yes, I'll be representing Proparco and talking about a little bit about how we do TA in TFSC.
So we have the four of us here to answer, to give you this presentation and answer your questions. So I will start by a very brief overview of a partnership with the GCF so that everyone is on the same page. So IFD is one of the first accredited entity to the GCF, was one of the first. So we got this accreditation in July 2015. And then it took us some time to formalize an accreditation master agreement, which was signed in November 2017 and which is due since January 2023. That's the reason for which we had to enter a reaccreditation process, which is now in progress. So we, as you must know, we were reaccredited very recently at the board of last week at the B36. So we are quite happy about that, but now we have to negotiate a revised AMA, which should take again some weeks or months. We are accredited as the highest level, meaning that what we call category A. That means that we can ask for the large amount of financing with a high environmental and social risk and any kind of instruments, grants, concessional loans, guarantee, knowing that Proparco is also accredited for equity. We have one of the largest partners of the GCF in terms of the volume we have for which we have already gotten approval. We have 7 projects or programs approved so far, so representing more than 650 million commitments, commitments from the GCF. We have 5 adaptation projects and 2 multi-country programs, one of which is the TFSC we are talking about now. So here's a view of 7 programs and projects. You can see them also on the GCF website, as you probably know. I would just like to highlight that this project is strongly focused on adaptation, is strongly focused on Africa and the seas, and is mobilizing both grant and loans. And just to terminate with this global overview of the short overview of the global relationship, beyond the mobilization of funds from the GCF, we do also have a strong partner activity. We do support local financial institutions in getting skills and capabilities to originate and to develop climate finance. We also help them in the relationship with the GCF when they are accredited or when they are trying to be accredited, in sharing experience and giving them advice and tools and methods. And we are also doing that, so either through a direct operation or through the IDFC, the International Development Finance Club, which you should know, which AFD is co-chairing together with CAF. And we have 25 members being part of the IDFC. Most of them are direct access entities. There is a partnership, an existing partnership between the IDFC and the GCF, with a memorandum of understanding that was renewed at COP27. And basically, as part of this partnership, we share experience, we share knowledge and experience. We do support GA members in the accreditation and all accreditation process. And we are trying to develop joint concept notes, joint FPs, in which FD is taking the part that our partner from the south cannot take, and we are trying to find some to innovate and be together position on the most strategic issues for the GCF. One of them is our nature-based solution and everything that makes the convergence between climate and nature. That's what we focus very much. So, and now I will give the floor to you, Alexandra.
Yes, thank you very much. So I will give you a short overview of the TFSC at this date. Just as a reminder, TFSC is an intermediate program co-financed with GCF, and it is implemented by Group AD. So this includes AD agencies for the public local financial institutions, but also for Proparco's agencies for the private financial institutions on field. And it's a combination of two financial tools, some credit facilities for a global amount of 650 million euros that are to be provided to local financial partners with adapted financial incentives and eligibility criteria tailored to foster better climate investment locally. And the funds provided to the different local financial partners will be on lent to final beneficiaries, the project owners on field, for financing investment, fitting with the TFSC financial and technical eligibility criteria. And we also have a grant facility that is meant to finance some technical assistance, reaching 38 million euros. And the objective of this facility is to increase the expertise and capacities building of the local financial partners in climate finance. So it is important to note that the scope of the possible technical assistance is extensive. So we can go from capacity building in climate risk management, from climate strategy design to ENS management and gender equality. That is one approach included in this facility. And so this tier has been designed in this way in order to account for the different geographies, but also the different profiles of partnering financial institutions, because as we mentioned before, we have some public banks, but also private banks working with us on the TFSC programs, depending on the different geographies where the program is implemented. We can go to the next slide. So to date, TFSC programs is deployed through projects in 5 countries out of 17 countries eligible at the beginning of the program. And at the end of June of this year, we have 538 million euros worth of projects that have already been approved and are in progress in the different countries. And we also have some additional TFSC projects under appraisal, mainly in Morocco and Egypt, for this year. And the rest of the funds on the total envelope must be committed by December of 2024. So we have a short timing for the implementation of the rest of the program. And mainly the challenges that you've been elaborating on just before are the same to date. And as Céline also mentioned, we also have some strong focus on adaptation on the projects on field, which represents a technical strong discussions and long-term discussions with the partners on field. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Is charging. Okay. Okay, so this is a small overview of the state of the different projects included in the program. So we have 4 projects at implementation stage. First one in Egypt, because we have a second one at appraisal stage in Egypt at the moment. And we also have one in Nigeria that you just mentioned before, and that will be some of the later subject of discussion together. And we also have 2 banks signed in the South Africa. And for the 2 other banks, we have one in Côte d'Ivoire that we are going to sign this year, and another one is in South Africa, also projected to be signed this year. And so the 2 are the one that we already mentioned in the previous slides, in Morocco and Egypt at the appraisal stage before approval from all boards, in AFD and Proparco boards, respectively, for the different projects. I don't know if you want to ask some few questions along with the slides, or if you want to ask the question at the very end of the presentation. Okay, so we'll keep on going, and I will leave the microphone to Zachary, who is going to give you an overview of the deployment of technical assistance from Proparco side.
Hello, yes. So this is just a brief overview of how technical assistance works in TFSC. So in terms of the thematic areas that we can cover for TA, because there's a large TA envelope that usually that accompanies all the credit lines. So the first kind of general pillar is for support on originating and structuring eligible sub-projects, so climate projects that fit within the eligibility criteria of TFSC. The second is to support the partner financial institutions in developing climate finance strategies. So that's really building their capacities internally around climate, whether it's from the opportunity identification side or the risk management side, building strategies, decarbonization strategies. Those are discussions that we have ongoing with a number of clients. Anything that's around building capacities and building or developing financial products that are better adapted to reaching certain segments that are of climate impact as well. Environmental and social risk management, that is also a key pillar, but is something that we do diligences on during the appraisals. Our teams do ESMS appraisals, and then we, if necessary, we can also offer technical assistance through the TA facilities to support strengthening of environmental and social management systems. Gender equality, also a pillar, and I understand an interest of yours in particular. There's also an appraisal during our due diligences of the financial institutions' gender policy, whether it is their internal gender policy or how they're working with gender with their client base. And then we can propose a gender action plan or propose to the client to work on these topics. And then marketing communication of climate projects as well. So just to note that the technical assistance is built with the partner bank. So we're not It's not, we found in our experience, it's not massively effective to come and force banks to come and work in a specific field. So it's, yeah, we co-construct the technical assistance programs based on, you know, their needs, their ambitions. We obviously try to push certain subjects, but there is kind of a discussion all the times in drafting the terms of reference for the technical assistance. I wanted to give you one example. That's the TFSC South Africa, how we work. So certain tasks in TFSC South Africa, certain of the TA is split up into two facilities. There's one centralized TA facility that benefits all of the participating financial institutions in the country, and they're carrying out core program activities such as checking the eligibility of projects, supporting banks on ENS, on gender, that is to be action plan preparation and support to implementation. This is really, that was something that we have in the terms of reference, but has not really been carried out in South Africa because our due diligence, like I mentioned, found that was basically things were up to speed with the partner financial institutions already. And then also providing coordination support. And then we have dedicated TA facilities where we can work on all of these thematic areas as well. That's kind of really on demand of the banks. And that is a different structure, whereas they would procure their own experts and we would refinance the experts under the facilities. So that's how it works in South Africa, to give you kind of a flavor of how things are deployed. And so yeah, there's this kind of like central core activities, and then the dedicated activities that are, each bank has to decide on what they want to do, but all activities are kind of seen together with the banks, and so are co-constructed. Thank you very much, and I'll go to the next slide.
Change of approach. Yes, so we will focus a bit on gender, and I will provide you insights of how EFD is working on gender. For a bit of context, France adopted third international strategy for gender for the 2018-2020 period, and in this context adopted feminist diplomacy. So EFD, in accordance with the feminist French diplomacy, EFD group considered itself as a feminist development agency and contribute to the international agenda. So this impacts how we assess the project. So the objective for EFD is to make sensitive or transformative projects on gender. No EFD project should be blind or neutral to gender issue, as they can have negative impact. This impact the way we work. So each project must incorporate a gender analysis into the identification phase. So the way we assess each project is based on a scoring methodology with 7 pillars that we call sustainable development analysis, and with a pillar dedicated to gender. And regarding this approach, we score the project according to the DAC gender equality policy maker, which is a 3-point scoring system. First one is the project that does not include an objective regarding gender issues, so the value is 0. The second level is the project includes a significant objective, so it's DAC 1, and DAC 2 is gender is the main objective of the project. So how concretely gender is integrated in the project cycle? EFD team includes a gender-based action in each step of the project, from identification to implementation and monitoring. So at the initial project definition, we may pay attention to gender issue and gender relevant action that we can include into the project. We are making a gender-based analysis, and we can also make a feasibility study integrating gender aspects for the project design. So then when it comes to appraisal phase, we have this first sustainable development analysis, including an opinion on a gender pillar and some recommendation. We can also have the support of gender experts, internal or external gender experts to support EFD on the design of the project, and including this specific gender activities. And then the design of the project can include the gender objective and activities or a specific gender action plan. When it comes to commitments, we have the final sustainable development analysis, including a second opinion on the gender pillar and the DAC score, and also recommendation to include in our contracts with our counterparts. We have to elaborate the detail and implement the gender action plan, and we also can support our counterpart in recruiting gender expertise for the implementation of the project activities or technical assistance. And then in the last part, but not the major phase, implementation and monitoring. So we monitor closely with the counterparts implementation of gender activities, gender specific indicators, and gender action plans. And this gender lens is also part of our evaluation of the project. So TFSC projects are integrating in this approach.
So as Marion just explained, we just had some AFD and GCF gender guidelines and practices combined in a dedicated strategy for the TFSC program. And then this strategy is applied specifically to each project, and is also applied specifically to each partner that we have. And this is how we are working on it. So mainstreaming of gender equality is one of the aspects of the TFSC program technical assistance to all partners, and we can do it at a financial institution level. So mainly it is some capacity building of project partners on gender related topics, and it's done internally, but also externally with the implementation of the gender action plans with our partners. And it's also done at a project level. The gender approach on TFSC program is very project specific, as mentioned before. And we are reporting it in the annual performance reports that are submitted to the GCF every year during the TFSC implementation. And this report includes gender action plan monitoring, the global gender action plans that I just mentioned for the TFSC program. The last one actually has been submitted this beginning of this year for the year 2022. So I would like to highlight one of the practical points about this report. So how it's done, mainly we are submitting the reports to the GCF internally, and they are supposed to approve the report fully, because the report is very consistent. You have some qualitative but also financial reporting on this report, and after, when it's globally approved from the different GCF teams, it is published on the website and on the main page of the website of the TFSC program. So this is one of the reasons why the public reports on the website are only for the year 2019 and 2020. It's because the last two reports were not approved for the moment by GCF teams. And so 21 reports has just been approved more like 3 days ago. So I guess it will be published in the next weeks. And in this report, we are following up specific indicators and qualitative comments on implementation status for each activity action. And also we have some specific following up that are country specifics, because all of the projects in the program, within the GFSC program, have specific indicators and specific TA. So to date, if we want to talk in a matter of impact, it's kind of a difficult exercise to provide some impacts on the ground focus in this context, because the maturity of the TFSC program does not enable to formulate such feedback at this stage, meaning that the activities, the concrete activities of the program has just been started from mostly the beginning of this year, end of last year, especially with the TA's activity. So to date, what we can say is that 100% of the project appraisal processes integrated specific gender analysis, and that all the feasibility studies included a gender component, and the ongoing recruitment and operationalization of the TAs will enable first gender activities to take place concretely at financial institutions and project levels from this year to next year. So at this stage, in the next annual performance report, we will be able to formulate some more feedbacks. And I think we can go to the next slide. So to go on the next slide, it's some of the information that you already had previously in the presentation of Jumoke about the global TFSC project in Nigeria. So the grant agreement for the TA has been signed in February of this year, and the technical assistance is in recruitment progress and is expected to be recruited to the end of this year. We are going to see how it is developing. And there is a specific gender action plan funded from this technical assistance of 2.5 million euros that we can share on the next slide, please. That I will not read in details for you, but I will let the slide here so you can have the information of what the TA is going to work on in Nigeria. So thank you very much for your participation and for attending this session. And I don't know who is going to take the session from right now for the questions, maybe.
Can you hear us? Yeah. Thank you for your attention. I'm now ready to take questions if you have some.
All right. Thank you so much, AFD team. It's time for question and answers. So I would leave the floor open for people to ask questions. So please, if you have questions, kindly wave your virtual hand while I give you the floor to speak. For my own questions, right, I don't think it's necessary because that was what we sent earlier, and I could see that you've touched some major parts of the questions, so it's really not necessary to go back to the questions I have on this slide. Is that fine?
Okay, Titi. Up to you. It seems that somebody raised his hand.
All right. Yes. I have Indivile. You can go ahead to speak.
Thank you so much. Thank you to 21st Century and to the AFD team for your presentations. I am from South Africa, and I recently joined the to be a gender monitor. So this project is new to me, and I haven't heard anything about it in the country, even in the civil society circles, because we do have a platform where we come together as civil society and discuss what is happening in the country with finances, climate change, and going forward. So I haven't heard anything about this. I would like to find out from you if are you able to tell me the financial institutions that you are working with in South Africa? And I know that the national government is in the process of working on nationalizing the gender action plan. And even there, you know, we are excluded as civil society. I remember we had a meeting in March with SANBI, the NIE, if I've got the correct acronym for the GCF fund, SANBI, and they work together with Adaptation Network, which most of the civil society organizations are members of that. We had a conference sort of for National Women's Month, not national, rather International Women's Month. And during that meeting, the Department of Environment, which is the focal point for climate change in South Africa, mentioned that they have a framework for gender action plan. And I asked, why were we not part of the planning process and the decision-making as civil society, you know? And she said it's internal protocols that prevented them extending the invite to civil society, to external stakeholders rather. And they promised to share the framework with us. Until now, we are still waiting. So yeah, it will be important for one to do a follow-up to check those financial institutions, who are they working with? And do they consult with civil society? And yeah, I had Zachary mention that the financial institutions can do whatever they want to do. And yeah, that is very worrisome to me, because that's exactly what they are going to do, you know, work with whoever they want to work and not consult with civil society. Thank you.
If I may react very quickly to that last point, I think what I meant was that the terms of reference for the technical assistance is has to be co-constructed, right, with the financial institutions, because they are ultimately the beneficiaries. So they have input on the kind of technical assistance that they're asking for. Obviously, we are pushing, you know, for certain types of, we have our vision for what would be best for them, taking into account that so far the discussions in South Africa, for example, have been really focused on climate and on identifying climate projects that are eligible within our criteria, and on helping the banks develop financial products that are adapted to financing new types of climate projects. So the gender issue so far has not been central in the discussions with the South African banks, because the initial assessment, the kind of like pre-assessment done by our own experts, our ESG experts, showed that they had they were already working on gender in many ways, and that they had some policies in place already. So that's just the background on South Africa and the gender topic more specifically. But obviously, what we do push them to work on topics of interest to us, but has to be co-constructed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You have the floor. You can speak. I think you wanted to say something. Or do you have answers to the other part of the question?
Regarding the name of the banks, that's what you are thinking about?
Yes, yes.
So some of them do not have signed credit facilities agreements yet. Under the control of Zachary, so we are not so much aware of where we stand exactly in South Africa. So what? Okay, so first, please take the floor.
Yeah, so I will give you the names of
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello,
we
can you
can't.
hear me?
Sorry, we were mute. So Alexandra was just giving you the name of the.
So I was just saying that I'm going to give you the names of the two banks that are already signed in South Africa, and Zachary may have to correct me if I'm not saying the names of the banks that are signed, but to me the two banks in South Africa are Trust Bank Limited and Investec Bank Limited. I don't know if this answers your question.
Both are private banks.
You say Investec and
Yes.
First Rand Bank
Yes.
Limited.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello? Yeah, I just want to add to the information that we would need in terms of South Africa and also for other countries where you have rolled out this project. It might be very important that we get the details of your representative in those countries, because it will be very important for us, for our agenda monitors in country, to link up with them and then begin to work with them at country levels, because C24s cannot be in the whole of the countries, and that's why we have country agenda monitors. We have some of them on this call. And maybe after this meeting, I might also send a mail, give you their list, and then you can also share the contact details of who we can contact in country so that they will know how to go about it. Because I know that after this meeting, country monitors will want to also have a kind of meeting at the country level to understand what is happening and to see what kind of support, what solutions, what challenges women are facing, and what kind of solution they can bring on the table. And if need be, also actually ask questions from beneficiaries to see how they are perceiving the project and whether the project is actually meeting their needs and demands. I don't know what you can do for us in that regard.
Sorry, we were mute again, it's my fault. So if I understand the question and the demand, you are asking for focal points in each countries where the TFSC program is implemented. Is it right?
Yes, yes.
All right. So in each country where we are implementing the program, we have some agencies, some AFD agencies, and we have some persons working on field that you may contact. So the main people that will be familiar with the projects on field to contact will be the agencies on field, the AFD agencies. And more specifically, Zachary just told me for South Africa, you can contact Steve Garden.
Yeah, can you just drop this contact for South Africa in the chat box so that Indivil can take it up from there?
Zachary will do it, yeah. Or maybe we can send an email after that with all the contact details, names of contact details. So
yeah,
in South Africa, but also in the other countries, if you would like.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be fine.
Okay. We do that together with Zachary.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's one more thing I want to ask. I wanted to know which other countries are you planning to roll out? You know, we have 17 countries. And right now, I think we just have report about 4 or 5 countries. And what are your plans for the remaining, maybe about 10 countries that is still part of this project?
Yeah.
So for the next steps of the program, so as we elaborated before, the program has initially 17 eligible countries, and at this stage we have 5 effective beneficiaries of countries, effective beneficiaries, sorry, of the funds of the program. What we are doing now, because as we showed in the presentation, mostly 82% of the funds have been committed already. So for the rest of the funds, our strategy is to go through all of the countries that we were trying to work with before, and to identify why it was not possible to effectively work with them. I mean, the different partners in the different countries. So most of the difficulties that we've been meeting were explained earlier, about mostly the financial viability of the partners, and also the different conditionalities on adaptation and eligibility criteria of the credit lines, but also of the grants. And from this point to try to allocate the funds in the better way to the partners, with the deadline of December 2024. That is our deadline to commit the rest of the funds. This is what I can say in a general point.
Yeah, if I may compliment a little bit, the fact is that we will have so much funds remaining on the global scope. So even if we are still trying to identify an additional country, we are not sure that we'll be able to do it, and we have sufficient funds to do that. But we also have remaining funds in terms of grants. And so these grants may certainly be invested in the countries that wouldn't have been able to benefit from the program, so that to help them to better to have a better knowledge of what is adaptation, because this was the clear focus of the program, and to help them to try to identify originates projects contributing to adaptation. So that's what we had in mind. But all of this has to be discussed with the GCF still. But maybe in another session, we'll be able to give you see.
Yeah. So I didn't hear what you say very clearly, but my sense is that it's possible there could be some change in the project proposal itself in terms of the countries, if I'm correct, and some other details because of the challenges on ground, if I'm correct.
There will not be so many countries because we have already implemented.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? I'm on mute. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
We are connected, so
Hello?
yeah, I can hear you. But it seems you
Yeah,
can't hear me.
I'm asking that based on some the explanation you have made, I didn't hear them clearly, but my sense is that there's a possibility that there could be some changes to the initial project proposal layout based on some challenges, or are you still going to go through all the 17 countries, or you are not able to get through to the 17 countries?
So we would not really not be able to get to the 17 countries, and that was not the idea at the very beginning. The 17 countries have been selected as potential countries, but there's never been any commitment from IFD to effectively engage these funds in these countries. And actually, as you could notice, we have engaged 84%, is that correct, of the funds that were given by the GCF. So we no longer have that much funds remaining to be engaged. And so maybe we'll try to extend them in a new country, and we hope that this will be definitely it will be one of the 17, but we don't know in which one we would be able to extend them. Maybe we will not have sufficient funds to be able to cover the request of the partners who would have been extended in the country. So we can tell you, but what we do know is that we definitely have a larger amount of money in terms of grants. So we'll be able to, and that's what we intend to do, provided that the GCL Secretariat agrees on that, is to elaborate some studies of trying to help countries, so these countries and the potential beneficiaries with which we wouldn't have been able to enter a relationship, to help them to have better knowledge of adaptation. What is adaptation? What is the approach they have to develop to manage to increase the financing contributing to adaptation. So that's it.
Wow. So we are going to have a challenge here because these countries has been recorded as receiving GCF resources. And here now we are hearing that they are just potential eligible countries. So obviously some of these resources might not get to them. So the earlier, the better that we know where these resources are going to, the better for us to be able to actually say clearly that this is where the GCF resources is reaching. And then rather than people having that false sense that GCF project is being implemented in their countries, it's better they know right on time that some of these things, let's be more exact about this, because this is a real big challenge for us as a civil society on ground who continue to advocate for more money for replenishment and so many other things. And then you also understand that GCF would have calculated it as some of the countries where they're having projects. And of course, only to find out that that is really not the case. This is a very big challenge for us. So I would think that it will be in the best interest of GCF and every stakeholders that we know who is actually benefiting and who is out of the 17 countries as earliest as possible. Yeah. And then I think if anybody has any question, please, this is the time to ask before we close this meeting. I think we've really taken a lot of time so that people can go back to their other businesses today.
Yes. Lastly, there's a question in the chat box, so I will just read it out. Okay, from Glory, is there a monitoring and evaluation system that ensures that targeted beneficiaries are the ones benefiting from the project? That's the question from Glory.
I will try to give you a first answer on this subject, and maybe Zachary, if you want to give additional information on this matter. The monitoring and evaluation system that you are mentioning does exist. And it is mainly the point of the technical assistance that are grant funded. So one of the components of the technical assistance is to help the local financial partners to manage the on-lending of the funds through the right eligibility criteria. So the eligibility criteria are from GCF and AFD, mainly GCF on the TFSC program. And there is a reporting system with all of the TAs to be sure that the credit lines are on-lent to the right beneficiaries. So the right beneficiaries, if I may mention in the presentations, are companies, corporates, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise, households, cooperatives, municipalities, that are investing in mitigation or adaptation projects as project owners. So they are the final beneficiaries of the credit lines. And I don't know if it's the answer that you wanted for your question, or if you want more detail about it.
Just a complimentary answer is that yes, there is a verification consultant that is hired as part of all the TA facilities that goes and verifies a sample of the projects to make sure that the funds are actually going to the projects that were approved.
Yeah, thank you for the response. Please, yeah, do we still have more questions before we close this meeting?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Titi. Sorry, I joined the call late. Mine is a question. I just want to find out if there are documents already shared on some of these projects, because it's important for us to also understand better the context where these projects are going to be implemented and to engage earlier. And just like someone mentioned about the M&E system, if there are documents to that could be studied, even before the engagement, that will really help, because these issues of analysis, gender analysis of projects, and also conflict sensitive analysis, I'm not sure if that was mentioned, but it's part of what we should be looking at in terms of implementation of some of this projects. I think maybe if there is a recording, I could list in more if what I've said have be captured earlier. And also in terms of capacity building in this M&E is not just something you're going to do. There are some spaces where the monitors could also be built capacity on the issue of monitoring and evaluation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So in terms of document available, publicly available, you do have the planning proposal that is on the GCF website and on the AFD page. And you do have the annual project reports, APR, for each year. So that's the only thing. So that's what we are required to deliver. And so that's the only documents that are publicly available in there. And then when we are implementing project in a specific country, we do call for, we ask for requests for proposals, which are also public. But then you have to, so the best way for you to get this information would be to contact directly agency locally. And the so I don't know if it will address your question.
Thank you, Saline. I think your line keeps breaking. Maybe in another time we could also have a more clearer conversation. But your lines were breaking. I don't know if it. Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
we hear you.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, I think we've exhausted our time. It's very important that we close. We want to say a big thank you to you, but maybe just one more issue that I just want you to help me to resolve. Yesterday, I was on the Twitter and I saw that AFD is supporting French feminists. So I don't know what you have to say about that. So you are not supporting feminists from English-speaking Africa? And what is really this feminist support all about? And because we have a lot of civil society here who are engaging you, and and most of us here are feminists, and we want to engage with that kind of fund also to see what we can do in our countries. I think that should be the parting question.
Yes, thanks for this question, and we can share with you a detailed information, but within this feminist approach, EFD commits fund into a fund to support feminist organization. So I can share with you details on this.
Okay, fine. I would really appreciate it to share me information about it and what we from the English-speaking African countries can do to also access those kind of funds. I really appreciate this. Maybe after this meeting, I will send a mail to us that then we can continue to engage. Thank you very much for responding to this call. And a lot of us are really happy to hear a lot of information about this project. And it has really helped, or it will really help us to know what next to do in terms of our accountability forums and what next, so what steps to take at our country levels. We thank the AFDB team. We thank all our GCF gender monitors across Africa. And we thank all those who have really participated here. This is a very, very good, what I call the discussion today. And I'm sure we are going to also take it forward from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I see her. Yeah.
The same outside. Thank you for this opportunity to share on the implementation of the program. So we remain at your disposal. Should you have any additional need for information, and I will send you the names of some contact people in the countries where the program is right now being implemented. And you can also continue the discussion with Marion what concerns the gender and the IB feminists. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.